What is going on, everybody? We're here, back with a brand new episode of Umineko When They Cry. Last time on, the cousins all decided to have, go out to the beach and, have a fun time. But on their way there, they stopped by the portrait of the witch Beatrice, in which we learned about the secret of the witch's gold that says that Grandfather Kinzo had gotten 10 pounds of gold from Beatrice, and that's how he made his fortune, by using this collateral to many different parties. And as the, cousins, the kids, were discussing this, meanwhile, with the adults, they were discussing the inheritance. And they were, basically all the adults were teaming up on Klaus. They were kind of blackmailing him a bit because he had getting funds for his many different projects that he has failed in succeeding in, and they suggested that he's either diverting funds from Kinzo's account, or he possibly may have found the 10 pounds of gold. But they all need about 750 million yen because they are all in financial trouble. With Rudolph, he needs court money because of a legal battle he had over in America. With Hideyoshi, he needs the money in order to take back his company from a bunch of stockholders. In Rosa's case, she co-signed a mysterious contract we don't know much about, but she from her reaction, she was surprised that Klaus knew about it. But that's pretty much what we've gleaned so far. Let's just get right into it.
面白いことをする。それでその突きつけた条件というのは何か。はい。
クラウス様は黄金の発見を問わずに、その分け前としてエヴァ様、ルドルフ様、ローザ様に計75億円を支払うこと。
Looks like Kinzo has ears everywhere.
ただしその1割を3月までに支払うこと。
クラウスの間抜けめ、弟たちに足をさらわれるとはな。実に愉快ではないか。しかし爪が甘いようだな。はい。
クラウス様はそれをエヴァ様以下お三人が緊急に大金を用立てする必要があるためとカンパされました。
ふん。その程度のことはカンパできるのか。中途半端に無能な男め。今はどうしている？
話は一度中断されました。今はベアトリーチェ様の碑文の話をされています。
Epitaph, huh?
私の黄金がどこに隠されているのか、その謎を解こうとか。はい。
Kinzo set down his spectacles and snorted.
奇跡の成就が先か。愚か者どもが黄金を暴くのが先か。
Miracle, huh?
実に見ものではないか。愚か者どもが我が謎を解き明かしたなら、その時は私の全ての敗北だ。我が屍を骨のひとかけらまでしゃぶり尽くすがいい。愚か者どもの貪欲さが偉大なる魔法に奇跡を宿らせるのだ。だがもし奇跡の成就が先だったなら、ベアトリーチェは再び蘇る。
Resurrected,
私が半生をかけて追い求めたあの美少が蘇るのだ。おお、ベアトリーチェ。奇跡を落とす聖なる夜がやってくるぞ。悪魔たちとのゲームが始まるぞ。
Game of Demons, huh?
私はきっと打ち勝つ。絶対に生き残る。 他の奴らの命はくれてやる。富も名誉も財産も黄金も何もいらぬ。ただお前の微笑みがもう一度見たいだけなのだ。
Kenzo choked, apparently in great pain. Cannon got closer and tried to pat his master's back, but Kenzo motioned for him to stop.
なぜ私が黄金の隠し場所をわざわざ人目に触れるように晒したかわかるか？
いえ。
魔法の力はリスクで決まるからだ。ベアトリーチェの黄金を暴こうとする人間が多ければ多いほど、その危険が高まれば高まるほどに、それでもなお成就できたとき、魔法の力は偉大なる奇跡を起こせるのだ。
So in order to bring about a miracle, a bunch of people need to work together in order to succeed in it against great odds. Sounds very familiar.
魔法とはつまりゲームなのだよ。優れている者が勝者になるのではない。勝者には魔法が与えられ優れるのだ。わかるか？生命の奇跡が数億分の1という神々しい確率に勝利するからこそ与えられるようにな。
Miracles in games.
お前には少し難しいか？
申し訳ございません。
よい。つまりはこういうことだ。ベアトリーチェの碑文の謎を解いた者には、私が築き上げてきた全てを与えよう。富、名誉、黄金、そして後宮家の家督。私が築き上げてきた全てだ。その謎に挑む資格があるのは何も私の息子たちだけとは限らぬ。たとえお前であっても、その謎を解けたなら全てを得る資格があるのだ。
Anyone, huh? Well, that's going to create some friction.
はい。ですが、僕にはあのような難しい謎は分かりかねます。
無論だ。難解に作った。だがお前も挑め。それが我が魔法の奇跡を呼ぶ糧となる。誰もが挑み、誰にも至れなかったら、その時はその時。だが奇跡が集い、魔法の力が生まれたなら、その時こそベアトリーチェが蘇るのだ。
It's very interesting. This isn't directly connected with Higurashi, but it's building on top of the whole miracle thing we saw in Higurashi with, everyone coming together and beating the fate of Himizawa. And so I guess Kenzo is using the power of miracles by creating a dangerous riddle in order to create the greatest odds in order to gain magical power. It's a very interesting magic system.
だからお前も挑め。誰もが挑め。そして我が魔法に力を捧げるのだ。
The more people involved, the more likely the miracle is to happen, as we saw in Higurashi, yeah.
わかるな。
It's very interesting.
はい。努力します。
For a long while, Kenzo repeatedly muttered to himself, agitated and clutching at his head. Cannon stayed where he was, aware and unmoving, till he was given the next order from his master. Kenzo eventually realized this.
もうよい、下がれ。酒棚に菓子の袋があろう。ダチンに持っていくがよい。
結構です。僕は家具ですから。
ふん。家具は菓子など食わぬか。道理だな。ならばもう下がれ。
はい。失礼いたします。
Kennen bowed and left the study. As the door closed, a heavy walking noise sounded out. Got that place walked up like a vault, but it was not the sound of Kennen walking the door. It was the door walking automatically. No one could enter without Kenzo's permission, and once they left, they could not enter again. What I have a feeling is like a setup to a locked room murder mystery. Son of a bitch. It was a mechanism that Kenzo, unable to trust his blood relatives, had created to seal himself up in his own study and isolate himself from the outside world. He was already unable to trust anyone accepting not the children who shared his blood, but those servants who called themselves furniture.
Nanjo sensei, いかがなさいましたか？
ああ、源氏さん。いや、居場所がなくなりましてな。
With a bitter laugh, Nanjo turned to face the door to the parlor. That look was apparently enough to tell Genji what Nanjo wanted to say. Hey, I agree with Nanjo. If I was just some random doctor, I wouldn't want to deal with all this family bullshit. For the most part, Genji also understood the family situation. It must have made him want to frown, knowing that right now in the lounge, the master he served was being discussed so disrespectfully. But it would have been very difficult to gather that from his indifferent expression.
しかし、私にはわかりませんな。どうして金蔵さんはこんな挑発的なものを書かれたのでしょう。
God damn it, just let me see the epitaph for God's sake. Nanjo looked at the portrait of Beatrice. No, he actually directed his gaze beneath the portrait, at the blade with the epitaph.
私には親方様のお考えは分かりかねます。深いお考えがあってのこととお察しします。
金蔵さんのチェスは昔から随分と遠大な読みで布石を打たれるものでした。いや、時には理解できない一手さえ。私ごとき凡庸では何を目論まれているのか皆目見当もつきませんな。
Played 4D chess, eh?
私はこれを親方様の何かの遺言状ではないかと考えています。それを理解できた者に財産や家督をお譲りになられようということなのでしょう。
つまり私のようなよそ者に解かれてしまう前に兄弟4人で協力し合って謎を解け。
Too bad the siblings are going to kill each other before them.
ということではないかということですな。金蔵さんは息子さんたちのことを口悪く罵ってはいますが、なんとか兄弟が仲を取り戻してほしいと願われているのかもしれません。
It certainly would be heartwarming if, as Nanjo had suggested, this epitaph had been made to repair the siblings' relationship. However, both Nanjo and Genji knew that nothing could be more impossible than this. They'd known Kinzo longer than anyone, and Kinzo trusted them more than his own relatives. But even they could not guess at his true motives.
親方様は一族のものでなくとも謎に挑む資格があると常々おっしゃっています。南條先生はいかがですか？
いやいや、この老いぼれには少々難解が過ぎますな。 実は以前この碑文を手帳に記しましてな。夜な夜な寝る前に挑んでみたのですが実に難しい。お迎えが来るまでの間ゆっくり楽しむことができそうです。源氏さんこそいかがですかね。
私めは親方様にお仕えする家具に過ぎません。黄金も財産も私には不要なもの。
やれやれ、本当に謙虚な方です。だからこそ金蔵さんもあなたには心を許されるのでしょう。
Nothing but furniture, huh?
ならば光栄なことです。
As Nanjo Whiteway laughed in response, he once again looked at the epitaph.
懐かしき故郷を貫く鮎の川。黄金鏡を目指す者よ、これを下りて鍵を探せ。
The epitaph on the portrait called My Beloved Witch Beatrice goes as follows. Here we go. Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. As you travel down it, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. There sweeps the key to the golden land. The one who obtains the key must then travel to the golden land in accordance with these rules. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. Ooh. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. On the third twilight, those who remain shall praise my noble name. On the fourth twilight, gouge the head and kill. On the fifth twilight, gouge the chest and kill. On the sixth twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the seventh twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the eighth twilight, gouge the leg and kill. On the ninth twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. Huh. So I guess on 9 different days, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. Those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. Those who remain shall praise my noble name. The head, chest, stomach, knee, leg. On the 10th twilight at journey's end, you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all the gold from the Golden Land. One shall be the resurrection of all the dead souls. One shall be the resurrection of the love that was lost. One shall be to put the witch to sleep for all time. Sleep peacefully, my beloved witch Beatrice. Interesting. Resurrection of all the lost souls, and the resurrection of the love that was lost. I think that was just one down. Thank God. That is an interesting epitaph. Interesting. I think before we continue on, I want to take a look at that again, because I think it added to our notes or whatever.
第10の晩に旅は終わり。
Let me see. It's probably in tips. Yep, epitaph of the portrait. The sweet fish river running through my beloved hometown, you who seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. See a village. Work for the shore the 2 will tell you of. There sweeps the key to the golden land. Offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. 2 who are close. The one who obtains the key must then travel. Rules. This is actually very interesting. Gouge the stomach and kill. Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck it means. But it's interesting. It's very interesting.
黄金鏡に至るだろうか。しかしマリアは豆だな。ちゃんとメモしてるとは偉いぜ。
マリアは忘れっぽいからちゃんと書く。ママに言われたからちゃんと書く。
There was a notebook inside the handbag Maria was always carrying around, and Beatrice's epitaph was copied onto it. Thanks to that, we were all able to challenge the puzzle of the epitaph while walking down this beach. Jessica and the West had already tried to solve it several times, and had already gotten bored with it. However, since this was the first for me, I was so excited I couldn't stop. It really tickled my sense of adventure.
まず1行目。懐かしき故郷を貫く鮎の川か。じい様の故郷ってどこだっけ？
戦前の後ろ宮家は小田原のあたりに屋敷を構えてたって聞いたぜ。で、となりゃ小田原に流れてる鮎の泳ぐ川に関心がいくわけだろ？
まずはその川が起点になるからな。んで黄金鏡を目指す者はそいつを下って鍵を探せとあるわけだ。小田原にある川ってなんだ？鮎が泳ぐ川だぜ。
小田原で鮎って言ったら早川だろうね。渓流釣りで有名だよ。
マリア魚嫌い。
マリアももう少し大きくなったらわかるぜ。鮎の塩焼きをベロベロベロってな。うまいぜ。さっき飯食ったばっかりだってのにもう腹が減ってきちまうぜ。
ビスケットでもお持ちしましょうか？
悪い悪い。そんなつもりで言ったんじゃないぜ。気にすんな。
Shanan-chan was faithfully keeping us company since she didn't have any afternoon chores for a while. I would have thought that, since she's a servant, accompanying us would force her to take care of us and tire her out, but that didn't seem to be the case for her. On the contrary, she seemed to enjoy joining in on a conversation with people close to her age. When I asked, I heard that she was the sort of worker whose room and board were supplied by her employer. So normally the only person close to her in age was Jessica. Yeah, I can imagine how that might be pretty dull.
さて、小田原で鮎の川って言えば早川だってことは分かった。となりゃ下るしかねえよな。早川を下ると何があるんだろうな。
下流に出て海に出ると思います。
そうさ、河口部に出る。そして碑文の3行目には川を下ればやがて里ありとあるな。ちなみにそういう河口部は大抵大昔から輸送の要衝になってて大きな都市があるもんさ。ここが次のチェックポイントだな。
なかなかいい筋だね。バトラ君の想像通り、そこは大昔にとても栄えたことだよ。小田原城があるところだね。
修学旅行で小田原城に行った気がします。素敵なお城でしたよ。
ああ、私も小田原城だったぜ。洋館に住んでてなんだが、やっぱり日本人は和風の方が落ち着くよな。
マリアお城退屈。遊園地がいい。
そうかそうか。よしよし。黄金を見つけたらこのバトラ様が気前よく遊園地を一日借り切って遊ばせてやるぜ。しかし小田原城とはな。小田原城の隠し黄金。お、こりゃなんだかいかにもって感じだよな。
まあ2年前の私たちもそこまでは行き着いたぜ。小田原で 鮎の泳ぐ川を下った里。そこが多分小田原城あたりだろうってところまでは私たちも行き着いたさ。問題は次の行だろ。さて、バトラの鎮推理はどこまでいけるか見ものだぜ。
Jessica grinned broadly. She seemed to imply that she would have solved the puzzle long ago if it was that easy. Damn it. I'll definitely find it and keep it all for myself.
4行目。その里にて二人が口にし岸を探れ。二人ってのが何のことかわからねえが、とにかく岸だな。で、岸ってなんだよ。岸って名前がつく地名でもあるのかな。
蘇我岸という地名が小田原にあるんだそうですよ。
おお、詳しいな。ってことはなんだよ。シャノンちゃんも黄金を狙って謎解きに挑戦してるんだな。となりゃ俺たちはライバルだぜ。
別に黄金なんて興味は。ただ以前にジョージ様から教えてもらっただけで。
2年前の私たちも同じ推理に行き着いたってわけさ。わざわざ地図を広げて調べたんだぜ。
小田原城の北に5キロくらいだったかな。そこには確かに蘇我岸という地名があるよ。でもそこからがわからないんだ。次の5行目にはその土地のどこに鍵があるかは記してない。マリアちゃん、読んでくれるかい？
そこに黄金鏡への鍵が眠る。読めた。
蘇我岸ったって広いだろうし、かつてそこに後宮家の家があったわけでもない。その広大な土地のどこかに鍵が隠されててノーヒントってんじゃ、こいつはお手上げってわけだぜ。
確かにな。鍵が手に入らないことにはその先の行に進めないぜ。ジョージ兄貴、蘇我岸ってのはどんなとこなんだ？
さあね、行ったことはないからわからないけど、地図によると山の中みたいだよ。確か浅間山の山麓みたいだったね。
なんだかパッとしねえな。宝のありかを隠した謎ってのはもっとぴったりとハマるもんじゃねえのかよ。
I mean, it wouldn't be a fucking riddle.
どうも蘇我岸ってのがそもそも間違いって気がするぜ。
私は蘇我岸を疑ってるぜ。私たちが知らないだけで、例えばじいさまの子供時代を過ごした家とかがあるかもしれないだろ。1行目に懐かしき故郷をって行があるくらいだもんな。シャノンはじいさまによく酒とか継がされてたろ。昔話とか聞かされたことないのか？
親方様は昔の話はほとんどされません。ただ後宮家が滅びかけた関東大震災について非常に人事のように話されることがありましたので、関東地方よりずっと遠方にお住まいだったかもしれません。
後宮本家は小田原に住んでたかもしれないけど、分家はその限りじゃなかったろうね。おじいさまはよく自分のことを分家も分家、跡継ぎに最も縁遠かったと言われるくらいだからね。
ってことはつまり懐かしき故郷ってのがすでに小田原じゃない可能性もあるってことだな。
じいさまの故郷なんて聞いたこともないぜ。聞いても素直に教えちゃくれねえだろうしよ。
懐かしき故郷というのが後宮家のルーツを指さないのであれば、小田原説は初めから間違ってることになっちゃうね。もちろん蘇我岸の疑いが晴れたわけじゃないけれども、例えば幼少の頃を小田原で過ごし、その後 遠方へ引っ越した可能性もあるだろうし。
おお、さっきから何の話かわかんない。
Maria had been completely left out of the conversation. She was now sad, puffing out her cheeks in boredom.
つまりだな、黄金すごろくの最初のスタート地点が決まらないことには何も始まらないってことだぜ。いや待てよ、最初の5行で見つかるのは鍵だろ。鍵なんてなくても扉はぶち壊して入ることだってできるはずだぜ。とりあえず最初の5行をすっ飛ばしてその先の推理に入ってもいいんじゃねえか。
おお、その発想はなかったぜ。まあいいや、どうせ暇つぶしなんだ。続きを聞かせろよ、バトラの推理。
でもその先からは急に物騒になるんですよね。
Chan frowned slightly. After looking back at Maria's notebook to recall what was written there, yeah, I was forced to agree.
第1の番に鍵の選び師6人を生贄に捧げよう。
Hey, who fucking didn't say Grandpa was hardcore, man?
いきなり物騒になるな。
第2の番には寄り添う2人を引き裂けときたもんだ。恋仲を破談させるのか、文字通り引き裂くという意味なのか、わかりかねるけど、どっちにせよ気持ちの悪い話だぜ。
その第2の番の解釈を別にしても、第1の番に6人、第4の番から第8の番までで5人、少なく見積もっても11人が生贄にされなきゃならない。
A lot of people won't die.
ベアトリーチェが蘇るための生贄。
なるほど、魔女復活のための生贄か。そういう解釈にもなるな。その結果第9の番に魔女が蘇って最後は極めつけだな。
第9の番に魔女は蘇り、誰も生き残れはしない。結局はみんな死んでしまいます。
それでようやく次の第10の番にゴールってことになってんな。みんな死んじまうのに黄金鏡へ至るだろうって言われても困ったもんだぜ。
鍵を手に旅に出た当人も生き残れないに含めるのかどうかは解釈の分かれるところだね。
しかしよ、最後のところには面白いことが書いてあるぜ。ゴールした後、魔女からもらえる4つの宝の行だよ。一つは全ての黄金。問題は次だ。全ての死者の魂を蘇らせるとあるぜ。みんな死んじまったっていうのとかけてるような気がしねえか。
それを言われれば、次の失った愛すらも蘇らせるという部分は第2の番の寄り添いし2人を引き裂けにかけているようにも見えますね。
そうだね。そして4つ目も第9の番にかけてある。第9の番に蘇った魔女を4つ目の宝が再び眠りにつかせている。
So it pretty much undoes everything besides, just getting
好
the
意的に
gold.
解釈すりゃ、死んだり別れさせたりと忙しいが最後には全部チャラになるわけだな。目覚めた魔女も再び眠るし、手元にはたっぷりの黄金だけが残るって寸法だぜ。
死んだり蘇らせたり別れさせたりくっつかせたりと魔女様はお忙しいこったな。
ついでに起きたり眠ったりな。
やれやれ。せっかくの隠し黄金の話も魔女の話が絡んじまうと急にうさんくさくなっちまうぜ。
違いないな。
I laughed along with Jessica. After all, the idea of a witch was just too ridiculous. Of course, once we started laughing like that, Maria, who believed in the witch, got angry.
魔女はすごい。魔法で何でもできる。殺すことも生き返らせることも愛を与えることも奪うことも空も飛べるし姿を透明にできるし黄金もパンも生み出せる。いけね。悪い悪い、冗談だよ。
Jessica apologized, sticking out her tongue, but Maria didn't accept it. She grabbed her notebook back in my hands and opened to some other pages, trying to prove that the witch existed. Those pages had colorful drawings of witches on them, and well conveyed the fantastical image Maria had of witches. It wasn't the normal sinister image of a crooked-nosed hag flying around in a broom, but a dreamlike person with unnatural powers who could do anything and wore a beautiful dress. It was just what you expect from an imaginative young girl. Footing through the sky, crossing a rainbow, dancing around all night with a teacup and a teapot that would never get empty no matter how much you poured out of it. With a flourish of her staff, the stars in the sky would become candy and pour down, and flowers that produced sweets would bud by the roadside. To Maria, witches were the only concept that could embody the magical dream that so captivated her. As she grew older, it was the last remaining thing that she could give witchness to her dull and plain everyday life. That's why Maria believed in witches. She didn't want that dream of hers to be tarnished. That's why she didn't want anyone to tarnish the epitaph, which affirmed the existence of witches.
マリアちゃんにとっては、これは黄金の隠し場所を示すものじゃなくて、魔女を蘇らせるための魔法なんだって。
But magic to revive the witch. So it was a slight single link between Maria and the witch. Maria was very angry and clung to George Anarchy. Jessica and I scratched our heads and apologized. It might not be possible to smooth things over again like the time she got mad in front of the portrait. Maria didn't seem willing to be easily consoled. Unlike Jessica and I, who hung our heads wondering what to do, Shannon Chen timidly opened her mouth.
マリア様、ご存知ですか？私たち使用人の間では、ベアトリーチ様の怪談が語り継がれているんですよ。
そうだったっけ？シャドン、聞かせてやれよ。私は知らないんだけど、使用人の間じゃかなり有名な話らしいぜ。
何の話だ？怪談？
うん。僕たちが生まれる前からある話らしいね。母さんにも話を聞かされたことがあるよ。
はい。この島にお屋敷が建てられてからずっと語り継がれている話です。当時の使用人たちはお屋敷には昼と夜で違う主がいるとささやき合っていたそうです。
One of the day and one of the night. The tale that Shannon told was just like a typical campfire ghost story. If there was a forest with a witch living inside it, then of course the witch would come pay the mansion a visit from time to time. At some point, this ghost story naturally sprouted up between the servants.
ちゃんと閉めたはずの窓や扉や鍵がもう一度見回りに来たら開いていたとか、消したはずの明かりがついていたり、つけたはずの明かりが消えていたり、置いたはずのものがなくなっていたり、置いた覚えのないものが置かれていたり、そういうことがあるたびに古い使用人たちは魔女が姿を消してお屋敷を訪れ、いたずらをしていったのだろうとささやき合ったそうです。
Going in right now, someone's living in the walls of the mansion. Going in now, baby. Put that on the list of fears.
ほらいる。ベアトリーチェはいる。
ああ、いるよな。私も昔よく登校の時に限ってカバンが見つからなかったりしたもんだぜ。
Maria puffed out her chest with an ooh ooh as though this was a final proof of the witch's existence. If I opened my mouth, Maria would probably be hurting again, so I didn't. I mean, you hear this kind of story everywhere. Depending on the place, I might blame it on a dwarf or an elf. And the only difference is that they call it a witch on this island. Of course, walking around a vast, elegant mansion at night would be a little unsettling. It's an island devoid of people. Since the mansion is so drafty, walking around on the night of a thunderstorm would certainly be eerie.
他にも鬼火や輝く蝶々が舞っているのを見たという使用人も。カノン君もそれらしいものを以前夜の見回りの時に見たことがあると言ってました。あと最近ではお屋敷の中で深夜に不思議な足音をよく聞くと使用人の間で話題です。私たちは肖像画の中のベアトリーチェ様が姿を消してお屋敷の中を散歩しているんだろうと囁き合ってるんですよ。ずいぶん前ですが、私もそうかもしれない足音を夜の見回りの時に聞いたことがあります。
ひゅー、そりゃ怖えな。
でも怯えることはないんですよ。ベアトリーチェ様は親方様とは異なるもう一人のお屋敷の主です。だから変に怯えたりしないで敬意を持っていれば決して悪いことはしないのだそうです。
ただし敬意を持たないと恐ろしいんだったね。
はい。私が勤めを始める直前に階段を転がり落ちて腰に大怪我をして辞めた方はベアトリーチェ様のことを悪く言っていたそうです。だから使用人たちはベアトリーチェ様のお怒りに触れたのだろうと噂し合ったそうです。バトラとチェシカきっとお怒りに触れる。
わあ、悪かったぜ。お怒りに触れちゃたまるねえ。謝るよ、マリア。もちろん魔女様にも謝るぜ。ベアトリーチェ様、ごめんなさい。よそ者のザレ言と思って勘弁してやってください。
私も謝るぜ。ベアトリーチェ様、ごめんなさい。これで魔女様、私たちを許してくれるかな？
わかんない。魔女は気まぐれだから許してくれるときは許してくれるし、許さないときは許さない。
それは困ったね。マリアちゃん、バトラ君とジェシカちゃんがベアトリーチェ様のお怒りに触れないようにするいいおまじないとかないかな。
I wonder if someone's counted how many times the word witch is used in this game. It's probably over 10,000, most likely.
何か魔除けとかさ。
By relying on Maria, who was proud of knowing the most about witches, George was trying to revive her self-esteem. Once again, I've got to admire his ability to calm the kids down. After taking a moment to cross her arms and seriously ponder whether there might be a charm that could save us, she started flipping through the pages in her notebook. I thought it was just a scribbled diary, but there also seemed to be quite a few pages that looked like they come from a book on black magic. Maria solemnly considered a group of these pages which contained things that looked like magic circles. Apparently, grandfather wasn't the only one with a black magic hobby. When Maria finally found what she was looking for, she snapped the notebook shut and threw it into her handbag. She began fishing through the bag's contents. There seemed to be various jumbled up things in there. After a while, she took out various pieces of junk, although they were probably important magical items to Maria, and repeatedly threw them back in, saying they were wrong. It was all a little humorous, just like when Doraemon took out the wrong tool. Finally, she seemed to discover what she was looking for. With a face that was unimaginably cheery when compared to the intense expression she had worn until now, she held those out to Jessica and me. I grabbed it and saw that it was a very cheap-looking charm. It looked like a bracelet made from plastic rosary, with a scorpion-themed metal attached. Fucking weird. Haven't you ever seen those cheap Zodiac-themed accessories? The kind you might win in a crane game at an arcade. It only looked like something like that. There were two of them. Probably one for me and one for Jessica. However, the very fact that there were two of them made them feel even more like cheap manufactured goods, making it pretty hard to think of them as magical items.
これを私とバトラに？
このお守りならベアタリーチェも大丈夫。サソリは魔除けの力があるから。
そうなのか？
Never heard of that.
サソリにそんな力がね
バトラが信じない。
I said too much and angered Maria again. Maria took out her notebook again, pointing out various pages as she went on and on about how the scorpion had such incredible holy power that had been used in magic repelling magical circles since ancient times.
あ、他の使用人の子から聞いたことがあります。サソリって魔術では魔除けのシンボルとして描かれることもあるんだとか。
へえ、そうなのか。
サソリは悪い魔法や最悪から守ってくれる。そしてエメラルドは心に平和をもたらしてくれる。だから二重で効果がある。
Damn.
ほんとだ。サソリがエメラルドを抱いて守ってるね。なるほど。これはご利益がありそうだよ。
I really wanted to make fun of those worthless-looking charms, but as I watched Maria explaining with all of her heart and realized that she found them for our sakes, I started to feel like it might actually work, even if it was just supplies from some game center. The material quality of the charm didn't matter. What mattered was the strength of her feelings. Even I don't think of myself as a sort of loser who'd laugh at something like that.
そっか。ありがとな。ベアトリーチェ様には謝ったけどよ。万が一タタリがある時でもマリアのこのお守りのおかげで安心だぜ。な、ジェシカ。
ああ、そうだぜ。ありがとうな、マリア。
心に平安が欲しいときは腕につける。お財布に入れるとお金が減らなくなる。ドアノブにかけておくと悪いものが入ってこられなくなる。便利なお守り。
Sounds convenient.
それはすごい効能ですね。マリア様が自信を持って進めるお守りならきっと頼もしいものと思います。
Chan clapped her hands together and Maria stuck out her chest. She was totally in a good mood again. It's probably best if we let her read the conversation a bit longer, if it'll keep her in such a good mood. Come to think of it, she looked a bit bored when we were getting excited about the hidden gold, probably because she couldn't keep up. While eating the cookies Kumasawa-san had baked, Jessica and I asked Maria this and that about black magic. Maria happily chatted away in response to our questions. Each time George, Aniki, and Chan would act surprised or chime in, the clouds in the sky grew darker and darker, but we cousins really enjoyed communicating freely after a year of separation.
今、額にポタって来なかったかい？
どうだろうな。
As George Aniki rubbed his forehead, he looked up at the sky. Considering the color of the sky and the dampness of the air, it wouldn't have been odd for a raindrop to hit him. The wind also seemed to have grown a bit stronger.
マリアポタッと来ない。マリアだけ来ない。
安心しろ。俺にも来ねえぜ。それに今夜になれば誰にも等しく大雨が降るだろうよ。
そうだね。そろそろ引き上げた方がいいかな。
Shannon looked down at her watch. It was probably well into the evening by now.
もう仕事に戻る時間かよ。
はい。皆様と一緒で楽しい時間を過ごさせていただきました。ありがとうございました。
熊沢さんにクッキーをごちそうさまって伝えてね。さあみんな、片付けを手伝おう。
Shannon declined our help, saying that this was a servant's job. But picking up a dropped fork before the waitress has to is like my purpose in life. Yeah. We folded up the blanket, gathered up the trash, and helped clean everything up.
ゴミが逃げる。
そいつは逃がさないぜ。マリアより先にいただきだ。
To Maria, chasing after some trash and falling by the powerful winds was just another game. By the time we finished, the wind was blowing pretty strongly. Probably a good time to head back.
皆様のおかげで助かりました。ありがとうございました。
もう本当に時間がないみたいだね。先に戻っていいよ。
George Aniki perceived from her hurried appearance that very little of her free time was left.
源氏さん、時間には厳しい人だからな。定時に持ち場についてないと厳しそうだぜ。
また後でね。お仕事頑張ってね。
はい。それでは失礼させていただきます。
After making a respectful bow, Shan ran towards the rose garden.
じゃあ俺たちもゲストハウスへ戻ろうぜ。テレビでも見てくつろがせてもらうさ。
テレビ見る。
なら決まりだな。戻ってみんなで一緒にテレビでも見ようぜ。
Maria, who wasn't done having fun, agreed once television was mentioned. We climbed up the gentle stairs and returned to the rose garden. The wind had grown very strong, and roses shook throughout the garden like ripples on the water. This might be our last chance to see these beautiful roses. I bet tonight's typhoon ruins them.
バラ、今夜の風でやられちまうかもしれないな。
そうだな。バラたちもラッキーだったと思うぜ。台風の前にバトラたちを歓迎できたんだからよ。
花はいつか必ず散る。でもだからこそ咲き誇る今をめでることができるんじゃないかな。
そうだな。マリアもよく目に焼き付けとけ。今この瞬間が今年で一番のバラなんだぜ。
目に焼き付ける。
Right then, Maria suddenly clapped her hands. It looked like she remembered something.
マリアのバラ、台風で飛ばされちゃう。
ああ、ジョージの兄貴に目印のリボンをつけてもらったあの元気のないバラか。
Maria primarily remembered where the rose was. She ran at full speed. The rest of us followed her.
あれはどこだったっけな。確かこの辺だったと思ったぜ。
We searched everywhere around that area, but it was only a single flower among all of these roses after all. Even though we knew it was somewhere close by, we weren't able to find it. The winds making up the typhoon's front lines made roses throughout the garden undiluate. It was almost like it was teasing us by making the location of Maria's rose impossible to find.
ここじゃなかったかな。少し手分けをして探してみようか。
そうだな。人海戦術で行こうぜ。なんだよ、マリア。
As we made to split up and search, Maria tugged on my jacket with an unhappy face. You could tell that she didn't want us to leave that spot.
なんだよ、どうした？
マリアのバラはここなの。ここにあるの。
でも現にないぜ。この花壇の裏側だったかもな。みんなで探せば早いぜ。
ここなの。マリアのバラはここなの。探して探して。
Jeez. Maria stomped her feet in irritation. She pointed at that spot and said it was definitely there, but in actuality, it wasn't. Even so, Maria got mad when we said we were going to search elsewhere. We were at a loss for what to do. Kind of like Kinzo with his beloved Beatrice turning invisible, so does Maria's beloved Rose turn invisible. Very much like her grandfather. For a while, we had to stay near Maria and pretend to search through that rose thicket. Maybe she's saying that should be here, but isn't. Maria became increasingly irritated.
参ったな。マリアがすっかり機嫌を損ねちまったぞ。
マリアはたまにすごくどうでもいいことを気にし始めちゃうんだよ。それがどうにかなるときはいいんだけど。
ないものは探せないしね。困ったな。
Just when we were at a loss of what to do, Maria called out in a loud voice. Oh boy. You could see Aunt Rosa in the direction Maria was waving her hand. Oh, maybe she wanted to look at the garden one more time before the typhoon came. Or maybe she had some business at the guest house. Aunt Rosa was coming from the mansion. She quickly noticed her daughter's voice and came over.
あらあら、どうしたのみんな。何か探し物なの？
探して。ママもマリアのバラを探して。
マリアのバラって？
この辺に元気のないバラを一つ見つけて、それに目印をつけたんです。
飴玉かなんかの包み紙でキュッと。しかしマリア、確か俺の記憶が正しけりゃすぐ手前の目立つところに生えてたはずだぜ。足が生えてどこかに行っちまったんじゃなきゃ他の場所だったと思うぜ。マリアの記憶違いじゃないのか？
ここなの。パトラが信じてくれない。
そのうー言うのをやめなさいって何度言ったらわかるの？ママも探してあげるから静かにしなさい。
I never seen Aunt Rosa be anything other than kind of gentle, so her anger surprised me a bit. Aunt Rosa began searching as well, so we went along with her for the time being. But we were actually already more than sure that it wasn't around here. So it didn't take long for Aunt Rosa to realize that too.
ここにはそのバラはないわよ。他の場所の間違いじゃない？ これだけたくさんのバラがあるんだから。
違うの、ここにあるの。ママも信じてくれない。
ちゃんと信じて探してるでしょ。でもないじゃない。
でもここなの。ここにあるのにないの。
じゃあ誰かが抜いちゃったんでしょ。とにかくその言うのやめなさい。
マリアのバラ抜いたの誰？抜いたの誰？返して返して。
そんなの知らないわよ。やめなさい。その言うのやめなさい。
Aunt Rosa slapped Maria's left cheek with her palm. Oh shit. In that instant, Maria was shocked into silence. Of course, it was only for an instant. When Maria realized that her wish was being rejected, she started yelling even louder. Once again, her palm swept Maria's cheek. Jesus. This time, she didn't go silent. She choked as she started crying and began to bawl in an increasingly loud voice. Aunt Rosa was clearly irritated and lifted her hand once more to try and shut her daughter up.
ローザおばさん。まあまあ、小さい子供のことですし、そんなマジになんなくても。
I tried to cut in with a bitter smile, wobbling my hands together, but Aunt Rosa glared at me with a serious face, and I realized that I should have stayed out of this.
ごめんね。バトラ君たちはちょっとお部屋に戻っててくれる？おばさんはマリアとちょっと話があるの。でもないじゃない。なら他の場所の勘違いでしょ。こ
こなの。絶対にここなの。
じゃあなくなっちゃったのよ。諦めなさい。
どうしてマリアのバラがなくなっちゃうの？どうして
知らないわよ、そんなの。だからその言うのをやめなさい。
Aunt Rosa once again raised her hand, overcome by emotion, and slapped Maria's cheek. It was strong enough to knock Maria over. Jesus, fuck.
ローザおばさん。いくら娘でも暴力はいけねっすよ。
They stepped between them to protect Maria, who was still on the ground, crying, ooh. I knew that as an outsider, problems between parent and child were none of my business. But I wasn't brought up to just silently observe something like this.
バトラ君は変に思わないの？あなたの学校にうなってる女の子なんている？
Well, I mean, different phrases from the other school I've been to, but you know.
いや、まあさすがに高校には。でも小学生ならそういう言うのも可愛いじゃないっすか。
可愛い？言うのが可愛い？可愛いって？
My careless words seemed to have earned me Aunt Rosa's wrath. She grabbed my collar with a terrifying expression.
バカ言ってんじゃないわよ。マリアがいくつか知ってる？ 9 歳よ。
Yeah?
小学4年生なのよ。幼稚園児じゃないのよ。それなのにまだクラスで言ってるのよ。わかる？この子クラスでなんて言っていじめられてるか知ってるの？この変な口癖のせいで未だに友達の一人もいないのよ。無責任にマリアのこと可愛いとか言って現実から目をそらさないで。この子の将来のことをもっともっと真剣に考えて。だからその言うのをやめなさい。やめろって言ってんでしょ。
Aunt Rosa struck Maria's quivering head, from which an increasingly unhappy voice was fuck. I tried to stop it, but Aunt Rosa pushed me away. My back hit George Aniki.
昔はローザおばさんもマリアちゃんの幼児言葉の一つだくらいにしか思わなかったんだけど、小学校の中学年になっても治らないのを最近はだいぶ気にしてて。
別にどういう言葉遣いをしようと関係ねえだろ。
そのまま社会人にはなれないよ。
Yeah, tell me about it.
だから見ていて気持ちのいい光景ではないけれど、これはおばさんたち親子の問題なんだよ。
まあ私もこの言葉遣いのせいでよくおふくろに怒られるけどよ。
When they put it that way, maybe even a scene as painful as this isn't something an outsider like me should butt in on.
バトラ君だって小さい頃悪い癖が治らなくて怒られたことがあったんじゃないかい？
まあ一つや二つは。授業参観の日に人前でずっと怒られてた時は恥ずかしくてたまらなかったぜ。
じゃあ今のマリアちゃんたちの気持ちはわかるよね。僕たちにここにいてほしいとは思わないんじゃないかな。ジェシカちゃんにもわかるよね。
怒られてるところを誰かに見られてえとは思わないぜ。
行こう。ゲストハウスへ戻ろう。そしてマリアちゃんが戻ってきたら何事もなかったかのように迎えてあげようよ。それが一番じゃないかい。
Yeah. We thought George Aniki's point was probably a reasonable one, and we may have been eager to use that reasonable sounding argument as a justification to retreat from this heart-rending scene. Jessica and I nodded at George Aniki, and we all left. We called towards Maria, telling her that we were going back to head to the guest house. But she didn't even seem to hear, and we felt sort of guilty and shameless after saying it.
それなら好きなだけ一人で探しなさい。ママは知りません。
探す。マリアが一人で探す。ママが知らなくても探す。
勝手にしなさい。
After blasting her with those last few words, Rosa spun on her heels and quickly returned to the mansion. Maria probably viewed that as a cold gesture meant to injure. But that wasn't Rosa's intention. It was because the hand with which she had so emotionally struck Maria's cheek was still numb. It was because if she stayed there screaming, she might again be taken over by emotions and continue slapping her daughter's cheek over and over. After Rosa left, Maria was left alone in the rose garden. The wind began to blow stronger and stronger, and every once in a while a raindrop would fall on her forehead. However, Maria couldn't leave that place. Not until she found that poor, wilting rose. It had definitely been there. Even so, it wasn't. Even though she knew the place, and even though it had been there, it wasn't. Maria bitterly stared at the place it was supposed to be and thought frantically. Maybe the angle I'm looking from is wrong. Maybe the height I'm looking from is wrong. While gazing at a single point, Maria repeatedly stood up, changed her position, and continued to stare. The wind was getting stronger and stronger. Maria kept on looking for that rose in front of the flower bed. Wow. Jeez. Fuck, what a scene packed with emotion. Fuck. Ugh, jeez. Also cool effects. The rain in the background. Jeez. Ugh. God, what a that scene was made to just make you as uncomfortable as possible, and by God did it work. Holy shit. Ugh. Genzo noticed the sound of the raindrops beating on the window. It seemed to be pouring down thickly. It had begun to rain later than the weather report had predicted. Genzo approached the window as if being summoned by the sound of the rain. The sound of rain is a sound of silence. That sound feels quieter than any silence. It makes humans remember that, in the end, they are alone from the moment they're born to the moment they die.
遅かったではないか、ベアトリーチェ。
Were those words directed at the rainy sky? There was no one to be seen in the direction of Kenzo's gaze.
さあ、始めようではないか。私とお前の奇跡の宴を。今こそこの島は現世より切り離された。もう誰も私の儀式の邪魔をすることはできぬ。
Oh boy.
お前にふさわしい生贄は十分にあるぞ。息子たちが4人、その伴侶が3人、孫たちが4人、私に客に使用人たち。どれでも好きなだけ食らうがいい。運命の鍵は悪魔のルーレットに従い生贄を選ぶであろう。
The demon's roulette.
そのルーレットが私を選ぶならば、私すらもお前の生贄となろう。だからこそなのだ。それだけの狂気をかけるからこそ、私は必ずや偉大な奇跡を起こすだろう。
Such madness.
さあ、好きなだけ食らうがいい。私はそのルーレットに打ち勝つだろう。さあ、すべてを落すぞ。まずは後ろ宮家の家督を返そう。受け取るがいい。
Kenzo tore the window open, whipped a golden ring off his finger, and forcefully threw it away. At that time, the sound of thunder rang out, giving the illusion that the lightning had accepted the ring.
そしてお前が蘇った時、そこにいるのは私であるだろう。 私が最後まで生き残り、お前の目覚めを見守るだろう。さあ来たれ、ベアトリーチェ。ようこそ我が宴。私が生み出した全てと引き換えに、私にもう一度だけ奇跡を見せておくれ。おー、ベアトリーチェ。
A manufactured miracle. Create the circumstances in order to create the greatest of miracles. Seems like in Kenzo's case. A news ticker popped up on the top of the TV program we were watching. The disaster report told how municipalities all over were continually sending out rain, flood, and wave warnings. Of course, the raindrops beating harshly in the window were even more convincing.
すっげえ降りだな。でもこれだけ盛大だとすぐにやみそうな気もするけどな。
Truly heavy rain.
そりゃ雨ぜ。台風の速度が遅いそうだから、下手すりゃ明日も丸一日こんな調子らしいぜ。ちょっとの天気でも船は欠航するもんだしよ。
やっぱり日曜日のうちには引き上げられないか。念のため月曜日に外部とのスケジュールを入れなくて正解だったよ。
ってことは月曜の学校はサボれそうだな。島生活ってのも悪くないもんだぜ。そういや、ジェシカは登校って毎日船で通ってるわけだろ。船が欠航したら学校はどうなるんだ？カメハメハ大王並みに雨が降ったらお休みで、風が吹いたら遅刻してか。
船が出なきゃ休みになるぜ。もっともそう甘くはねえけどな。大抵その代わりに自習が指示されて、後でかっちりと見られるから、そうそう気楽でもねえさ。
例えば梅雨なんかの長く天気が崩れる時期だと数日間くらい登校できないこともあるんじゃねえのか？
そういうこともあるぜ。でも毎日きっちり担任から電話がかかってきて、どう自習しろ、何を提出しろと酸っぱく指導されるけどな。
バトラ君が考えてるほど簡単にはサボれないよ。船で通う人たちのルールに従ってしっかり勉強をしているよ。
むしろ登校できた方が気楽だぜ。自分の部屋じゃ気が散るし、集中もできねえしな。それでいて問題集ばっかり数日もやらされてると、かなり精神的に応えるもんがあるぜ。大学の時にはよ、寮のあるところに入ってさっさとこんな不便な島はおさらばしたいもんだぜ。
へえ。じゃあよ、ちなみに行きは天気が良くても帰りは悪くて欠航ってなったらどうすんだ？学校に泊まるのか？
そういうのはよくあることだぜ。だから帰島できない人用の宿泊所があってよ、そこに寝泊まりするんだよ。下手すりゃ数日間家に帰れないこともあったりするぜ。
乗車率が 200% を超えるような満員電車で毎日通勤通学しなければならない人から見てみると、船の通学なんて趣があって良さそうだななんて無責任に思っちゃうけど、やっぱりいろいろと苦労があるんだね。
よく無神経な観光客がそういうこと言ってるぜ。私は島の生活なんてもうお腹いっぱいだね。早く高校出てこんな島とはおさらばしたいぜ。
高校にだって全寮制のところとかあったろうよ。なんでわざわざ新島の学校を選んだんだよ。
私は最初からそれを希望してたぜ。でもおふくろがよ、当主跡継ぎとしての修行やらマナーやらがうんぬんってうるさくてよ、結局 高校も地元になっちまったのさ。こんな島はごめんだぜ。早く都会で生活したいよ。雨が降ろうが槍が降ろうが、ラフな格好でサンダルを履けば5分足らずでコンビニに行けるような都会に引っ越したいぜ。
もう少しの辛抱だよ。高校卒業まであとちょっとでしょ。
そのちょっとも我慢できねえぜ。
Jessica stretched out and reclined in the sofa. It was a bad time slot because there weren't any interesting programs on. And we had nothing to do but languidly kill time until we were called for dinner. After that episode, Maria never returned to the cousins' rooms after all. Odd was, I probably took her back to the mansion. It had to be pretty boring for Maria, all by herself while the adults had a confusing conversation. We thought we might as well head over to the mansion to see her, but the weather really was awful. And since there wasn't much time until dinner, we stayed where we were. At that time, we heard the sound of a humble knock. Jessica answered.
Hi! お食事の準備が整いました。お屋敷へお越しください。
It was Canon-kun's voice. Did he go to all the trouble of coming from the mansion in this rain just to get us? Couldn't he have just called us on the telephone? Unless it's called cut. Well, I guess servants at work don't always get to take the most efficient route.
なんとなくお腹が空いてきた頃だったしね。行こうか。
George Aniki turned off the television and stood up.
俺はとっくにペコペコ。本家の晩餐は毎回凝ってるしな。それに郷田さん、子牛のステーキとか言ってなかったっけ？たまらねえぜ。
親族会議の日は特に豪華になるしな。私だって楽しみだぜ。行こう行こう。
As we left the room, Canon-kun bowed silently and respectfully.
じゃあ行こうぜ。外の振りはだいぶひどいだろう。
はい。お召し物を濡らさぬよう十分ご注意ください。
After seeing the three of us out, Canon-kun peered into the empty room.
マリアス様はいらっしゃいませんか？
Oh.
一緒じゃないぜ。ローザおばさんと一緒じゃないのかよ。
Rosa was lying on a sofa in the empty parlor, having fallen asleep before she knew it. She was bearing a burden that the children couldn't even imagine. That's why she only needed to let her guard down a little before the weariness immediately dragged her into the world of sleep. Realizing this, Genji brought a blanket over to her. When he tried to spread it over her, her eyes snapped open as though she had been shocked with electricity.
ありがとう。源氏さんなのね。
When she realized that the thing that had touched her was just a blanket, and that Genji had been considerably given it to her, she let out a sigh of relief.
起こしてしまいましたか。失礼いたしました。
いえ、いいの。寝るつもりじゃなかったから。今は何時なの？
When he was asked for the time, Genji checked a pocket watch that he took out of his chest pocket.
6時を少し過ぎたところです。
Rosa gave her head a little shake when she realized that not much time had actually passed, even though it felt like she'd slept for ages. Even though she didn't feel rested at all, the drowsiness that had enveloped her must have been pretty deep.
ありがとう。毛布は結構よ。変な時間に眠っちゃダメね。すっかり時間の感覚が狂っちゃったわ。雨とうとう降り出したのね。
Rosa finally realized that the peaceful sound that had put her to sleep was actually the rain.
風もだいぶ出てるよね。いよいよ台風なのかしら。
そのようにテレビでは申しております。遅い台風だそうで、明日いっぱいはこんな調子だそうです。
そう。この素敵なバラ庭園も日中のあれが見納めだったのね。
From the window, what she could see of the rose garden was completely blurred by the wind and the rain.
マリア。そうだ。マリアは？
私はお見かけしておりませんが、ゲストハウスにお戻りではないでしょうか。
Rosa knew her daughter's nature well, so a chill ran down her spine. Maria was stubbornly honest, and if she was ordered to find something that didn't exist, she would look forever and ever, even in pouring rain.
違うわ。いとこの子たちは先に行ってしまったから、あそこにはマリア一人。あの子は誰かにもうやめろと言われない限り、たとえ槍が降ってこようとあそこに居続けるわ。傘もささずに。私は感情に任せてなんてことを。
Even though she'd known about Maria's simple honesty better than anyone, she once again lost control of her emotions and done something terrible. Once again. Rosa pushed Genji away and ran down the hall. The outside really looked like a typhoon and the rain was pouring down spectacularly. Maybe because of some aspect of the terrain, the winds were in typhoon class, so an umbrella wouldn't be torn out of one's hands. Even so, certainly it was a windy rain. There was no time to admire the roses being drenched.
とりあえず今はマリアが気になるぜ。まさかあの後もずっと一人でへそ曲げてあそこでバラ探しをしてるなんてことはないよな。
そうだね。さすがにこの雨じゃと思いたいところだけど、マリアちゃんはたまにすごく頑固でものすごく愚直な時がある。
We hadn't worried much, thinking that Aunt Rosa had taken her back to the mansion. However, that when Ken and Kun had come from the mansion to call us and thought Maria was here, we got a little worried.
お屋敷ではお見かけしませんでしたので、てっきりこちらにおられるとばかり。ローザ様は仮眠を取られておいででしたので。
ここに来る途中に見かけなかったのかよ。
申し訳ございません。傘を差し急ぎ駆け抜けたもので、そこまでの注意を払いませんでした。
If he had cut through the rose garden, taken the shortest line between the mansion and the guest house, then he would have just barely missed the place where Maria had been looking for her rose. And it was raining this hard too. It certainly would have been possible for Ken and Kun to fail to notice her.
ここで議論するより直接確かめる方が早いさ。兄貴、ちょいとかけっこと行こうじゃねえかよ。
6年成長したから僕に勝てるつもりかい？よし、決着をつけようじゃないか。行こう。
George, Aniki, and I flew out into the room. Jessica and Ken and Kun followed us.
Maria! いるなら返事をしなさい。マリア！
ローザおばさんだ。おばさん！
When George Aniki called back, Aunt Rosa jumped at him and grabbed onto him.
マリアはどこ？ジョージ君たちと一緒じゃないの？
いえ、僕たちはあの後マリアちゃんには出会ってません。
6 years ago, Maria had been 3 years old. She was a cute and pure kid who just accepted whatever anyone said. But 6 years have passed since then. She's 9 now, and experiencing the ups and downs of life should have taught her something. But Maria, are you telling me you're still as innocent and pure as you used to be?
Maria!
As I circled the rose bed, something white unexpectedly turned to face me. It was a white umbrella. White umbrella. Maria was crouching down, holding a white umbrella and still searching for that rose. Where'd she get the umbrella from? Her face, which had turned bright red from her crying her eyes out, was dirtied with water and mud. It was truly pitiful sight.
お前まだ探してたのか。
見つからない。マリアのバラ見つからない。
Maria had probably been here since the rain started pouring down. Her shoulders were freezing. She looked tired to the bone, but fortunately, since she was holding an umbrella, she wasn't completely soaked. The umbrella probably came from the handbag Maria always carried around. Thank goodness. Seriously, thank goodness. Yeah.
バトラ君、よかった、見つけたんだね。
マリア！ごめんなさい。本当にごめんなさい。
On Rosa flew her umbrella aside and hugged Maria.
ない。マリアのバラがない。
後でママも一緒に探してあげるから。だから今日はお預けにしなさい。
今日はお預け。
It looked like Maria still wasn't able to accept it, but she no longer had enough energy left to resist. Jessica and Ken caught up with us.
すぐにお屋敷でタオルの用意をさせましょう。
マリア、ずっとここにいたのか。
ごめんね。本当に悪いママでごめんね。
ローザおばさん、とりあえずお屋敷に行きましょう。このままじゃマリアちゃん風邪をひいちゃう。
そうね。マリア、行きましょう。ちゃんときれいにしないとおじい様に怒られちゃうわよ。
お腹すいた。
もう食事の時間だぜ。マリアはよく頑張ったよ。天気が良くなったら私たちも一緒に探してやるから。
We couldn't stay in the rain forever. We took Maria with us as we headed back to the mansion. Maria apparently wasn't as worn out as I thought. When she remembered we were having calf steak for dinner, she started chanting, "I'm hungry, I'm hungry, ooh, ooh." We turned to her usual spirited self. Not Rosa didn't chide Maria for saying ooh.
そっか、傘を持っていたのか。さすがマリアは物持ちがいいぜ。
マリア、傘なんか持ってない。
なんだよ。じゃあその手に持ってる白い傘はどうしたんだよ。
貸してもらった。
Oh, some caring person must have brought her an umbrella. A normal kid would look for shelter once it started raining, but Maria was too stubborn to give up so easily. So maybe that caring person gave up on telling Maria to find shelter, then decided to at least give her an umbrella.
そう。その人にお礼を言わないとね。誰？
Beatrice.
手当たり。
God damn it. The name Maria cheerfully mentioned was that of the island's witch. Rosa took a deep breath and asked again, trying to do so in a way that wouldn't damage Maria's good mood.
そうよかったわね。それで誰なの？傘を持ってきてくれた人は。
おお、ベアとリーチェ。おお、
Maria immediately realized that her mother then believed her and started crying out unhappily again. So Rosa stopped pursuing the subject. It'd probably be faster to ask whoever went Maria Van Boer during dinner rather than ask Maria herself.
お父さん、せめて晩餐にだけは出席してください。これでは親族会議になりません。
Along with a dull pounding on the door, the sound of Cross's entreaty could be heard. However, that voice seemed to be resigned to the fact that nothing it said would be heard.
金蔵さん、せめて夕食くらいは出んかね。あんたの顔を見ようと息子さんたちが集まってきてるんじゃないか。
黙れ南條。ビショップが聞かぬか。
We made to buy alcohol and chess and manga.
言って足りぬ。
Paranoid, Kenzo was completely focused on the final battle of his long-lasting chess match with Nanjo. Kenzo's brow was wrinkled as he continued to glare at the game board, though through his spectacles. Cross's voice didn't reach his ears.
金蔵さん、私も腹が減った。下に降りて食事をせんか。
ならばお前だけで行くといい。私はもうしばらくこの一手を吟味させてもらうぞ。今夜で決着をつけてやる。さもなくばお前との決着は金輪際つけられそうにないからな。
Man, Kenzo, I'll just let you win, man. I really don't give a shit about the chess. Nanjo rose from his seat, hoping this would prompt Kenzo to do the same, but Kenzo's eyes never left the chessboard. He knew well that Kenzo always displayed a blind concentration when it came to chess, but he'd never seen Kenzo concentrate as hard as this. It was almost as though Kenzo was telling the truth, and there would never be another chance for them to continue their contest if they didn't finish tonight. It seemed that no matter how obstinate way he called out to Kenzo, it wouldn't reach the latter's heart. Nanjo gave up and headed to the door that Qualis was still banging on. The door to the study opened. Qualis was taken aback, thinking that maybe Kenzo was actually coming out. However, Nanjo was the one who appeared, and Qualis let out a sigh of relief.
南條先生、親父殿は。
お役に立てなくて申し訳ございませんな。今や金蔵さんの世界はこの部屋だけです。
Nanjo shook his head with a completely defeated expression. Cross raised his fist once more and banged on the door, shouting.
お父さん、聞こえますか。私たちは下へおりますが、気が向かれたらいつでもおいでください。息子兄弟一同、ずっとお待ちしておりますよ。
His voice was very loud, and he was making a racket pounding on the door. There was no way it wouldn't reach Kinzo's ears. Well, it certainly was reaching him, but he ignored it anyway. However, unlike the time he had been called down for lunch, he didn't fly into a rage. By now, Kenzo was calm at heart, almost as though he had taken on a philosophical view and turned himself over to fate.
晩餐にも息子たちの顔にも興味はない。私がここを出るのはベアトリーチがよみがえる時か、私が鍵の生贄に選ばれた時だけだ。もう悪魔のルーレットは回っている。今さら晩餐に何の意味があろう。
As though the painfully loud banging on the door completely failed to enter his hearing. Ginzo silently thought about his next chess move, still in his philosophical state. Just as always, Kenzo's figure couldn't be seen anywhere in the dining hall. Klaus, wearing a bitter smile, returned with Manjo.
親父殿は相変わらずご気分が優れられないそうだ。年に一度の親族が集まるこの機会に同席できないことを非常に残念がられておられた。
Eva and Rudolph snickered. Given Kenzo's personality, there was no way he showed signs of regret, and none of his relatives showed any regret at his absence.
ではディナーを始めようじゃないか。ゴーダ、始めたまえ。
かしこまりました。それでは始めさせていただきます。
When Goda was told to start the family conference dinner, his biggest time to shine of the whole year, he nodded with a broad grin.
マリアに傘を貸してくれた人は誰かしら？
When Rosa timidly cut through the silence of the dining hall, everyone noticed.
傘？何の話？さっきマリアがバラ庭園にいた時に雨が降り出して、誰かに白い傘を借りたみたいなんだけど、お礼が言いたくて。
俺たちじゃねえぜ。ローザが出てった後は部屋を移してずっと仲良くおしゃべりをしてたからね。
Yeah, then we'll expect you to be the charitable one, Rudolph.
はは、そうやで。あの後も兄弟で仲良くおしゃべりをしとったのや。
The word friendly fell awkwardly from Hidoroshi's lips. So, even those who hadn't been present could tell the conversation had been a pleasant one.
少なくとも私とエヴァとルドルフと、あと秀吉さんとキリエさんではないことも確かだがね。
私たちは夏日姉さんとローザさんが出て行った後もずっと一緒だったわ。食事の時間までずっとね。
兄さんは源氏さんと一緒にお父様を呼びに上の書斎へ。私たちはそのまま食堂へ直行したもの。だから私たちではないわね。傘を貸すなんて親切、使用人の誰かじゃないの？
じゃあ合田さん？
私はずっと厨房で準備をしておりましたもので、申し訳ございません。
Goda looked slightly disappointed about missing this chance to show off. At that time, Shannon Kumasawa appeared, pushing a serving cart loaded with Horace de Vos.
じゃあ熊沢さんかシャノンちゃんかしら？はい。
何か粗相がございましたでしょうか？
Because Shannon had come in part way, she shrank back, mistakenly thinking that the others were searching for the one responsible for some error.
違うよ。マリアちゃんがバラ庭園に一人でいた時に雨が降ってきてね。誰かが傘を貸してくれたんだよ。ローザおばさんがその人にお礼を言いたいって言うのさ。
ああ、ベアトリーチェ。
Maria, her mouth a thin line, said the witch's name in a small voice. Aunt Rosa explained the situation to one more time. As she did, Kumasawa-san cackled.
私たちでもございませんよ。私もシャノンさんも一緒にお部屋の準備をしておりましたから、お外には出ておりません。
はい。気が利かなくてすみません。
部屋の準備とは何のことかね。
この雨ですから、客人の皆さんがゲストハウスにお帰りになられるのも大変かと思って、使用人たちに屋敷内の客室の準備をするように命じたのです。
あら、気が利くじゃない。そうね、この雨の中表に追い出すのは失礼だものね。
もう予算か。
はい。奥様からそのようにご指示を受けまして、私と熊沢さんとカノン君の3人で準備をしておりました。そしてご夕食の時間になり、源氏様からゲストハウスのお子様方をお呼びするようご指示をいただいたため、カノン君が言ってくれたのです。
ええ。ですからカノンさんがゲストハウスに行かれる時にマリアさんを見つけて傘をお渡ししたのではありませんか。
ほー、違う。
The person who had actually received the umbrella denied it. Rosa was troubled. The thunder and the storms. All she wanted to do was give a word of thanks to the person who had lent the umbrella, but she couldn't find them. And she thought asking like this with everyone gathered for dinner would work immediately.
じゃあ、夏日姉さん？
ごめんなさい。私は皆さんとの仲良くの語らいの後、頭痛がひどかったので自分の部屋で休んでいました。
Yeah, no blame you.
ですから表へは出ていません。
なら誰なの？ジョージ君たち？なわけないわよね。
いえ、僕たちじゃありません。僕たちはずっとゲストハウスでテレビを見てました。
むしろ私たちはマリアはおばさんと一緒に屋敷に行ったとばかり。
そこへカノン君が来て、マリアは一緒じゃないのかと聞いたんで、初めて屋敷にはいないのかって分かったんだよ。第一俺だったら傘を貸すより先に手引っ張って屋根の下に連れて行くぜ。
Rosa was completely baffled. One by one, the relatives and the servants denied that they had done it, even though it really wasn't something anyone would need to hide. So, by process of elimination, the number of remaining candidates wasn't large.
もちろん私でもありませんな。雨が降り始めてすぐの頃、金蔵さんの部屋を訪ねて、ついさっきまで一緒にチェスをしておりました。
ということはおじい様でもないよね。
なんだなんだ、妙な話になってきたぜ。あと残るのは誰だ？
じゃあ誰？源氏さん？ちょっと待って、勘違いしないでくれる？別に私は何かの犯人探しをしてるんじゃないのよ。雨の中のマリアに傘を差し伸べてくれた人に母としてお礼が言いたいだけなの。
Giving an umbrella to a girl loitering in the rain was something to be praised, not hidden. Despite that, no one raised their hand. Why not? Everyone started whispering about how strange this was getting.
落ち着けよローザ。傘を借りた本人に聞けばいいじゃねえか。
That's what everyone had been thinking since the beginning. They were all scratching their heads at why she didn't just ask Maria, who had been given the umbrella. However, Rosa bit her lower lip. After all, she already knew how Maria would answer if asked.
ドーリア。 ルドルフ君の言う通りやないか。マリアちゃん、おじさんに教えてえな。マリアちゃんに傘を貸してくれたのは誰や？
ベアトリーチェ。
The dining hall was wrapped in silence for an instant, but was soon interrupted by a burst of laughter.
なるほど。森の魔女ベアトリーチェが不憫に思って傘を貸してくれたか。いい話じゃないかね。ローザ、そういうことだ。
Rosa couldn't believe it. Even though she just wanted to say thanks for the umbrella, why did everything have to be so crowded in smoke?
クラウスおじさんの言う通り、ベアトリーチェが貸してくれたの。
それはよかった。無垢だというのは実に羨ましいことではないか。なあ、諸君。
Kraus was laughing with a face that was cruelly mocking. But Maria was overjoyed, apparently convinced that her calm claim was being believed.
一体どうなってんの？まさか本当に魔女が現れて傘を貸したってのかよ。
Jessica asked me in a small voice that wouldn't carry over to Maria, who was sitting across from me.
マリアって冗談が言えるタイプだっけ？
If we heard that kind of story pop out of my old bastard's mouth, we would have just taken it as another joke. However, it was hard to explain in a way like that when Maria said it. It was just getting pretty unnerving.
いや、昔から愚直なぐらい正直で真面目だよ。
Now there's two options to this story. Either Beatrice really exists, and she appeared out of thin air and gave her an umbrella. Or there's an extra person on the island no one knows about. And both are equally as terrifying as the other.
普通なら聞いただけで嘘とわかるような冗談すら鵜呑みにするタイプだぜ。マリアから冗談を言い出すなんて聞いたこともない。
Aunt Rosa probably knew that better than anyone. Appeared that because of this weird situation, she had no idea what was going on anymore.
じゃあマリアがベアトリーチェに傘を借りたと言ったなら、それは間違いなくベアトリーチェなのか。
マリアに関してだけは何かの比喩とか冗談とかそういうことは考えられねえぜ。額面通りの意味だと思うべきだろうよ。
じゃあなんだよ。源氏さんあたりがあの肖像画のごついドレスを着てマリアに傘を持って行ってやったっていうのか？
そんなことは知らねえぜ。私が聞きたいくらいさ。
Jessica shrugged jokingly, but her expression didn't completely match her attitude. Once the horse Devolas were set out and Goda showed off his vast store of knowledge, the meal began. A couple of casual chats broke out here and there, but they seemed somehow distant, and the meal ended up being so quiet that you couldn't ignore the sound of the rain sneaking into the dining hall. Kumasawa and Shannon, pushing the servant cart, ran into Genji and Cannon on their way to the kitchen.
源氏さんですか？マリア様に傘を貸されたのは。
傘？何のことだ？
はい。雨が降り出した時にマリア様は一人でバラ庭園におられたそうで、そこでどなたかに傘をお借りになったそうなのですが、それがどなたかわからないのです。
僕じゃないよ。マリア様はゲストハウスにいると思ってたくらいだからね。バトラ様が最初に見つけられた時にはもう白い傘をお持ちだった。
申し訳ないが、それは私でもない。
じゃあまさか親方様でしょうか。
I'd left only Kenzo, but maybe he went walking down the corridor for some reason.
何かのご用で廊下を歩かれている時、偶然バラ庭園に傘もささないマリア様が見えたとか。
親方様はマリア様のことをあまりお好きではない。
同感だね。親方様がマリア様のために直々に開花までお越しになって傘を持ちくださるとは考えられないよ。
あら、困りましたわね。ではマリア様に傘をお貸しになられたのは本当にベアトリーチェ様ってことに。
Kumasawa laughed just like the relatives in the dining hall who laughed it off. She couldn't think of any other way to break through the smoke veiling the current situation. Just then the crisp sound of hands clapping twice rang throughout the hallway. They all turned around at once to see Goda coming out of the dining hall.
さあさあ皆さん、ディナーは配膳のタイミングも大事です。すぐにスープの配膳に取り掛かってください。源氏さん、彼女らは大切なお仕事中ですのでお引き止めになられないでください。
Ken glared at Goda for being rude to Genji, person Ken respected. Genji, realizing this, patted Kennen once on the shoulder as a warning. Kennen reluctantly turned away and returned his expression to normal.
ゴーダの指示に従いなさい。今は晩餐の配膳を急ぐように。
ほらほら、時間がありません。タラタラしない。急ぎますよ。
Goda grabbed the serving cart from Shannon and steadily pushed it towards the kitchen.
では私どもも厨房に戻らせていただきます。幸田さんも気の短い方ですからね。
私もこれで失礼いたします。
I just really like Kumasawa's just, the weird, experienced old lady that's just always creeping around. Kumasawa and Shannon left. Only Genji and Kennen remained. Through the window, the darkness of the rainy night could be seen, along with the occasional thunderbolt. Hell's Halls.
源氏様、ベアトリーチェ様が本当にお戻りになられたのでしょうか。
わからん。
親方様にお知らせしますか。
せずともよい。本当にお戻りになられたなら、やがておのずと親方様の前へ現れよう。それに、あれは気まぐれなお方。親方様にご報告申し上げたところで、お姿を現されないことには何の意味もない。
親方様の儀式はすでに始まっているということでしょうか。
Ooh, looks like Kenzo's not the only person to believe in Beatrice.
おそらく。だがそれは我ら家具には何の関わりもないこと。親方様に受けたご恩、最後の瞬間までお返しするのみ。
The favor.
はい。それが僕たち家具の務めです。
The thunder crashed once more. Except for those instants when lightning lit up the sky, nothing could be seen out the window but the darkness of night. Just as humans wool when the sun is up, those that are not human wool when the sun is down. The darkness of night that now surround Wokenjima was ruled by another master, not the Ushiwa Mira family. Did this master take pity on Maria when she was alone and being pummeled by the rain in the rose garden, lending her an umbrella? Kenan looked at the rose garden's whites, dimly visible beyond the window. The dim lights weren't enough to illuminate the surrounding area. Looking at those lights felt like making eye contact with the witch, and Kenan forced himself to avert his gaze. If he didn't, it felt like his eyes would be absorbed by that light. Can the weather change how people act? Maybe. You often hear stories about how things like atmospheric pressure can influence people's moods and physical health. For some time now, everyone had been struggling to clear the gloomy atmosphere. But any conversation was quickly cut off, and in the end, the dining hall was simply filled by the sound of the rain. Dessert was some kind of chocolate cake accompanied by pear sherbet. Goda enthusiastically explained the recipe as soon as this final dish was presented, but I quickly forgot the details. The guest of honor, grandfather, was absent, the weather was horrible, and the identity of the one who lent Maria an umbrella remained a mystery. When dinner ended, no one felt even one bit refreshed. It was too late now, but I realized painfully that taste wasn't the only important part of the meal. The whole atmosphere was also critical. Goda-san, the supposed conductor of this musical piece called Dinner, did his best to enliven the place, dropping little jokes left and right, but apparently not one of them succeeded. After taking orders for after-dinner coffee, tea, and orange juice, he left for the kitchen. As soon as he disappeared, Uncle Klaus spoke.
やれやれ。せっかくゴーダが腕を振るってくれた晩餐も、こうも沈み込んでしまっては実に味気ないというものだ。
まったくね。今日は何を食べても美味しく感じられない、そういう気分よ。
ほう。どうしてそういう気分なのか聞きたいね。
Here we go.
心が晴れ晴れできるよう、兄として後で協力させてもらうよ。
Aunt Ava grimaced slightly. I'd already heard she wasn't on good terms with Uncle Kraus, but it was pretty clear now. I don't think any of the family likes Kraus, or at least the siblings. When I looked around, I noticed that my father and Aunt Rosa were also grimacing. Apparently there was something besides the weather troubling all of them. No kidding.
エヴァおばさんもうちの親父もずいぶん機嫌が悪そうっすね。
そう？私はそうは思いませんよ。
I asked Aunt Natsuhi, who was sitting on my right, but she seemed to be in a bad mood as well. She snapped back as if to say she was absolutely not interested.
まあちょいと大人な話で込み入ってな。バトラ君たち子供は気にせんでええ話や。なあ夏井さん、桐江さん。
Uncle Hideyoshi laughed as he spoke, but without his usual brightness. So I could vaguely imagine just how complicated their dark conversation had become. No shit. Top of that, even Aunt Natsuhi and Kiri-san... No, Kiri... God, that is the one name that I cannot get right once. Kirie-san, the people he directed his comment to ignored him as though they hadn't heard anything. I didn't know what kind of conversation they'd been having while us kids were away, but it reminded me of how Dad said he had stomach cramps when we arrived at the mansion. The family conference might have been a playful reunion to us kids, but it was definitely different for the adults. After Uncle Hidoroshi's comment was ignored by the other adults and an awkward silence fell over the room, Kirie-san spoke up.
子供たちの進路はどうなるのかしらとか、そういう話よ。バトラ君は将来はどうするの？ぼんやりと大学進学？そんなのじゃ長い人生レースのスタートラインとしては心細いわよ。
あいたたたたたた。桐江さ 飯の最中にそんな話されちまったら消化不良で便秘になっちまうぜ。
そうやそうや、バトラ君やジェシカちゃんの進路の話をしとったんや。将来のことは真剣に考えんとあかんで。
Hideyoshi heartfully agreed, as if they really had been talking about that, but that was probably wrong. Kirie-san had been obviously trying to change the subject. However, Kirie-san had determined that this was the best course of action for now, then she was probably right. Taking this into account, I cast aside my suspicions as to the cause behind Aunt Ava and Dad's bad moods. At long last, the serving card returned, filled with coffee and tea. Poisoned. Kumasawa-san and Shannon-chan served it to everyone. Yoda-san then explained that this concluded tonight's meal. If only the mood had been a bit more cheery, it might have been the best dinner in my life. It was a shame this best of dinners couldn't have been had under the best conditions.
ジョージお兄ちゃん、これでご飯は終わり？終わり？
うん。これでおしまいだよ。
はしてないわよ。お席について落ち着いてジュースを飲みなさい。
Maria looked like she was really excited by the occasionally crashing thunder. Maybe she wanted to quickly finish eating and went over to the window. She had been fidgeting for a while, waiting for the meal to end. Some people are afraid of thunder, while others find it interesting, and Maria was apparently one of the latter sort. Therefore, when she heard from George Aniki that dinner was over, a huge smile broke across her face. She then rose from her seat, took out her handbag, which she set under her seat, never having left it, even while she was eating, and began fishing around inside of it. No one seemed particularly concerned by this behavior.
なんだい？それは。どこから持ってきたの？
No, it's a gold bar. George was the first to notice it. As she spoke, Bador noticed too. Oh, they saw that Maria was now holding a beautiful Western-style envelope. On the front of the envelope, the Ushiro Mira family crest, the one-winged eagle, was done in gold leaf. Furthermore, the fact that it was sealed with dark red wax made it clear that this wasn't something Maria could have bought as a prank.
マリアちゃん、それは何？
Damn, that's pretty... It seemed that Natsuhi had also noticed the strangeness of the envelope Maria was holding. Her voice sounded too serious for someone admonishing a small child, so the relatives around us finally noticed too.
どうしたよ、夏日姉さん。
それ、何？
マリア、あなた、それをどこで拾ったの？
その封筒は金蔵さんの。
When Nanjo muttered that, even us kids could understand why everyone seemed to be frozen solid. The envelope that Maria held was one of the Yoshiro Mira family head's custom-made envelopes for private use. What the hell? In other words, it could only mean one thing. This envelope contained a message from Kinzo.
ほう。どうしてそんな封筒がここにあるんだね。
こいつは面白いもんが飛び出してくるぜ。
ちょいとわしに見せてみ。ダメ、
マリアが読むの。マリアがみんなに読んで聞かせなさいって言われたの。
Yeah, it's going to be probably good news. Uncle Hideyoshi tried to snatch the envelope out from Maria's hands, but she protected it as though hugging it and didn't let go.
秀吉兄さん、子供相手に力ずくなんていけませんよ。マリアちゃん、その封筒はどうしたの？
傘を貸してくれた時にベアトリーチェにもらった。ご飯が終わったらマリアがみんなに
に読んで聞かせろって言われた。マリアは魔女のメッセンジャーなの。
メッセンジャーこの島の魔女様は随分と洒落てるじゃねえかよ。
Battleware tried to joke about it, but no one laughed.
それで中には何て書いてあるのかしら、マリアちゃん。
読む。
Maria casually opened the envelope. It was sealed only with wax, so she just had to remove the sealing wax to open it. That sealing wax fell onto the desk. Hideyoshi hastily picked it up and stared fixedly at it. He then set it in the center of the table where Natsuhi, Kirie, and Nanjo stared at it. Imprinted in the sealing wax was the one-winged eagle, which was the Ushiro Miura family crest and also Kinzo's personal crest.
これは当主様の紋章。
私は金蔵さんに手紙をもらったことがあるからわかる。これは間違いなく金蔵さんの風浪だ。
でもこのお屋敷にはそれと同じ紋章がいくつもあるのでは。例えば風浪用のハンコのようなものがあれば金蔵さんでなくても風浪はできるのでは。
いや、金蔵さんは風浪には必ず自分が指にしている後ろ宮家当主の証の指輪で刻印をする。この形や複雑な意匠は間違いなく金蔵さんの風浪だ。
はあ。
そうとは限らんよ。親族であれば一度くらいは親父の手紙を受け取ったことはあるはずだ。その風浪をもとに偽の紋章を作り、親父殿を語って刻印した可能性が否めない。
兄貴に同感だ。風浪に刻印されている紋章がどれだけ親父のものに酷似していたとしても間違いなく親父のものであるとは証明不能だぜ。だからその封筒が親父のものであるという証拠にはならない。
私も全く同じよ。風浪の刻印だけでお父様の手紙だなんて決めつけることには同意できないわ。南條先生、曖昧な言葉は慎んでいただけるかしら。
これは失礼。出過ぎた口でしたな。
One after another, all the siblings from Cross on downwards rejected Nanjo's statement, saying that the envelope Maria held wasn't necessarily from Kenzo. They were afraid. They feared from the bottom of their hearts that Kinzo's intentions were written there, and that might be some announcement regarding the inheritance that would be decidedly unfavorable to them.
マリア、その封筒は傘を貸してくれた人がくれたのね。じゃわからないでしょ。そうなの？
つまり魔女ベアトリーチェが傘と一緒にマリアちゃんにその封筒を。
Maria nodded forcefully.
主人に私も同感です。得体の知れない何者かが手渡した怪文書です。読むにも値しません。
せめて読むくらいいいじゃねえかよ。な。
Battleware said it to Jessica in a small voice, trying to act tough, but Natsuhi heard him clearly and glared at him with threatening eyes.
それでマリアはそのベアトリーチェに食事が終わったら読めって言われたんだな。
いいじゃないの皆さん。これはおじい様の封筒ではなくベアトリーチェの封筒。誰が書いたのかはともかく中身を聞いてからの判断でもいいんじゃないかしら。
It's probably not going to be anything, if like at all, probably not.
そうやな。 お父さんが書いたとは限らんが、中身が気になるんは事実や。マリアちゃん、さっきは無理やり取ろうとしてすまんかった。謝るからみんなの前でそれ読み上げてくれんか。
マリア、読みなさい。
As all the relatives stared fiercely at Maria, she spread the letter open with a whistle.
本当に親父の手紙だと思うか？
ありえんね。親父殿が私たちに何かを発表するときは直接でなければいつだって源氏さんを通してじゃないか。
Once again to taking the clock.
このようなこじゃれた方法でするとは思えんね。
そうよ。マリアをメッセンジャーに？それこそお父様の趣味じゃないわよ。ローザ、これはマリアちゃんが私たちを脅かそうという何かの隠し芸なんでしょ？
マリアはそんな気の利いたことができる子じゃないわ。
The words came out of Maria's mouth, but for some reason her voice seemed different than usual. Everyone went suddenly silent.
六軒島へようこそ、後ろ宮家の皆様方。私は金蔵様にお仕えしております当家顧問錬金術師のベアトリーチェと申します。
The alchemist.
そんなアホな。
黙って。
長年にわたりご契約に従いお仕えしてまいりましたが、本日金蔵様よりその契約の終了を宣告されました。よって本日をもちまして当家顧問錬金術師のお役目を終了させていただきますことをどうかご了承くださいませ。
くだらん、ざれ言だ。
聞くに耐えません。
さてここで皆様に契約の一部をご説明しなければなりません。私ベアトリーチェは金蔵様にある条件とともに莫大な黄金の貸与をいたしました。その条件とは、契約終了時に黄金の全てを返還すること、そして利息として後ろ宮家の全てを頂戴できるというものです。
むちゃくちゃや。
Jeez.
初めっからむちゃくちゃだぜ。
要するにあれだろ、よくある悪魔の契約みたいなやつなんだろ。
Yeah, pretty much.
ほんで契約がおしまいってことになるから利子を回収に来たってわけだ。いいんや、長年の退職金のつもりかな。ちゃっかりした魔女だぜ。
バトラ君、今は茶化さない方がいい。
Badward made a face as if to ask, if I can't make fun of this, what can I make fun of? Some of the adults' faces were pale while others looked dazed.
これだけをお聞きならば、皆様は金蔵様のことをなんと無慈悲なのかとお嘆きにもなられるでしょう。しかし金蔵様は皆様に富と名誉を残す機会を設けるため特別な条項を追加されました。
What, the epitaph?
その条項が満たされた時に限り、私は黄金と利子を回収する権利を永遠に失います。
特別な条項？
それは何よ。
特別条項。契約終了時にベアトリーチェは黄金と利子を回収する権利を持つ。ただし隠された契約の黄金を暴いた者が現れた時、
Okay.
ベアトリーチェはこの権利を全て永遠に放棄しなければならない。利子の回収はこれより行いますが、もし皆様のうちの誰か一人でも特別条項を満たせたなら、すでに回収した分も含めて全てお返しいたします。なお回収の手始めとしてすでに後ろ宮本家の家督を受け継いだことを示す 後ろ宮家当主の指輪をお預かりさせていただきました。
Wait, I just remembered this. Earlier on, Kinzo literally threw his ring out the window. So someone... Ah, shit. I completely forgot about that. Okay. Oh, shit. I completely forgot about that.
封印のろうそくにてそれをどうかご確認くださいませ。
これがそうだというのか。親父が指輪を手放すなどありえん。
Probably fucking flew out the window. Kraus stared at the sealing wax as if trying to burn a hole through it. Ava and Rudolph were doing the same over his shoulder.
確かにチェスの時、金蔵さんの指に何か足りんような違和感は感じ取りました。
南條先生、おぼろげな記憶でいい加減なことを言わないように。
その心眼をここでは測れないわ。本当に指輪をお父様に確かに手渡したのか、この手紙が本当の話かどうかはお父様に直接確認すればいいだけの話じゃない。
そうね、桐江さんの言う通りだわ。
果たして金蔵さんがそれを答えてくれますかな。あの人のお考えは時に人の世の常識では測りかねますからな。
どのみちざれ言の息を出んね。第一、黄金幻想自体が親父殿のまやかしだ。ありもしない黄金の話を始めるのはお前たちだけで十分だ。
でも魔女様はおっしゃってるわよ。黄金を見つけた者に家督と全ての財産を引き渡すってね。つまりベアトリーチェ様はお父様の顧問弁護士もしくは金庫番でもあられるってことじゃないのかしら。
このような怪しげな文章を子供に託すような怪人物を信用することなどできません。
兄貴、腹を割ってもらうぜ。兄貴の知らない人物が親父の財産管理をしているようなことはあり得るのか。
いや、それはない。私は当主代行として親父殿の全ての財産を把握している。私に知られずにそれらを自由にできる人間はいないはずだ。
じゃあつまりクラウス兄さんの把握していない財産ってことじゃないの？
バカな、そんなものあるわけがない。
あるわよ。兄さんが把握していないお父様の資産。
そんなものあるわけがありません。
いや、あるで。それがお父さんの、いやベアトリーチェの隠し応募や。
話を整頓しよう。つまり親父には兄貴も知らない腹心がいた。そしてそいつはずっと黄金の番と運用を任されてきたわけだ。あるいは悪魔の契約まがいのルールで融資した神塚の大富豪か。
その腹心のベアトリーチェさんは自分の黄金を融資する相手として息子兄弟の誰がふさわしいか試したいということなのかしら。
Kira's question was one that all the siblings wanted answered. Upon reflection, they realized that Kinso's strange epitaph had hung in the hall beneath the witch's portrait for quite some time. And while it had long been whispered that whoever solved the puzzle would receive everything, no one had ever clearly stated it. It was just something everyone had hoped might be true. And right here, right now, the fate they'd hoped for had been clearly stated in Beatrice's letter. They clearly specified that everything of the Ushiro Mira family would be given to the one who found the gold.
黄金の隠し場所については、すでに金蔵様が私の肖像画の下に碑文にて公示されております。条件は 碑文を読むことができる者すべてに公平に。黄金を暴けたなら私はすべてをお返しするでしょう。それではどうか今宵を金蔵様との知恵比べにて存分にお楽しみくださいませ。
Battle of Wits.
今宵が知的かつ優雅な夜になるよう心よりお祈りいたしております。黄金のベアトリーチェ。
The Golden.
お父さん、聞こえているはずです。返事をしてください。
The door to Kinzo's study was being violently, harshly beaten against over and over again like a percussion instrument. The yells coming from the other side belonged to Koalas, Rudolph, and sometimes Ava. It was the siblings who were trying to intrude about Kinzo's study to question him about the truth behind that mysterious order. Kinzo was eating. An elegant tablecloth was set over his desk, and the fabulous dinner that he had adorned the table down in the dining hall was reproduced here. Kinzo continued his meal in silence. Shannon, taking away an empty plate, looked uncomfortably between the door being pounded on and Kinzo's face.
皆さんがお呼びですが、いかがいたしますか。
捨ておけ。神と我が晩餐は沈黙を尊ぶ。
黙らせますか。
必要ない。我が耳には届いておらぬ。
Kinzo enjoyed his food, apparently indifferent. Genji quietly lowered his head and took a single step back. As he did, Cannon, who stood in reserve like a shadow behind him to the side of Genji, opened his mouth.
マリア様がベアトリーチェ様より手紙を受け取られたということで、その真偽を確かめたいのでしょう。
あやつめ、早速始めおったか。さあ、ベアトリーチェ。かけるコインに不足はあるまい。存分に今宵を楽しもうではないか。負ける気はないぞ。お前の微笑みは永遠に私のものだ。もう一度見られるなら富も名誉も我が命すらも惜しくはない。さてルーレットは回り始めた。ボールはどのポケットに落ちるのか。ノワールかルージュか、それとも親の総取りか。さあ始めるがいい、ベアトリーチェ。私が再びお前に奇跡の力というものを見せてやる。
Once more. And at last, the battle has begun between Kinzo and the Golden Witch Beatrice. So yeah, I think this is a fantastic stopping point. A lot has learned. I feel like we are properly getting into the story right now. I think we've got our inciting incident, and now it's time to play this probably gigantic game of wits and chess. So, I hope you guys enjoy this type of content. If you did, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. Want to tell me something? Put it down in the comments below. Check out the Discord server I hang out in, or my Twitter. Check the description below. And yeah, this has been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!